Avoid gamers. Don't befriend them, don't date them, and for the sake of the future of our species, certainly don't have children with them. Well, that's a bit harsh. This was said by Rizvi, am I pronouncing that correctly? An international author. And here's where I will debunk my first argument against video games. He said this: instead of working out and getting in shape, they get to choose avatars who are tall, strong, and ripped. That applies to a very small and niche amount of games, but okay, continue. They're driving awesome cars, beating out the competition, and getting beautiful women in real life. They have to do it all not just on the screen, but in VR, where the illusion feels even more real, despite being utterly non-existent. Yeah, I hate to destroy your argument, but you do know that everybody is weird, they aren't real, right? This is a very big and completely stupid problem that plagues the 40 game bad argument. I'll be honest, many games are to do with being really strong and powerful without much effort at all, like the Batman games, which are an example of that type of game. But those games are made to tell a story most of the time, and they're supposed to be easy because of the cinematic experiences. And again, they aren't real, and everybody knows that if you play Batman Arkham Knight, you will not turn into Batman. Do you think we're stupid? I mean, seriously. There are no highly praised games that aren't cinematic but still are very easy because it makes the game boring anyway. So those types of games are more like movies which aren't entirely focused on the gameplay. And are we just going to ignore games like Dark Souls or Bloodborne, games where everything can destroy you easily, you have to work hard to overcome challenges? Those games are incredibly popular, how can you not focus on them? But let's focus on the opposite side of this argument really quickly. People who say that aggressive behaviors can be encouraged by video games. These people are assuming that people who do anything negative or illegal in a video game will do it in real life, which is stupid because, say it with me, people know that it isn't real. No, they're not going to kill someone in real life just because they play quests that require you to do it in Assassin's Creed. No, they're not going to commit Grand Theft Auto because they're like doing it in a game that has no bearing on the real world. And no, they're not going to run around in an anime costume yelling and running into people's houses because they're Dragon Quest fans. You're treating young adults and children like babies if you think that behavior from video games reflects behavior in real life. It simply does not. Young kids are smarter, much smarter than we like to give them credit for. They just lack context. But they can definitely tell what is real and what isn't, what's acceptable and what isn't at that age. If your kids can't, well, guess what? That's your fault. That's your fault for being a bad parent who can't teach your kids basic morals and laws, and that fiction does not have any bearing on the real world. My point is, kids can play games without picking up any bad influence, and everybody knows that it isn't real, and that being fit in a game doesn't make you fit in real life. Seriously, you people have got to be completely stupid and think that we don't know the difference between fiction and reality. Also, why is this argument not applied to any other fiction? Oh, I know. It's called cherry picking to support their argument. Because we have to push our agenda that TV and books we just sit there and watch is better than video games. We have an interactive storytelling, play and a positive experience. Because I guess they're made by Beelzebub or something. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the next stupid argument. The idea that games are useless. And to do that, I'm going to share a very personal experience I had with a game called Celeste. Celeste is a difficult position platformer about a 20-year-old woman climbing a mountain. The gameplay loop is centered around difficult platforming challenges, which often requires physical position, and you will die a lot. The gameplay connects with the story very closely, as the game's characters, including herself, tell Madeline, the character, that she can't climb the mountain. Only, the game is telling the player as well. The game tells you, you can't do this, you aren't a mountain climber, you will fail. But you can get through it. You can get through over platforming and climb the mountain. But you also might fail. You could give up. You could rage quit and stop playing forever. But if you do that, you resemble the type of person who would never be able to climb the mountain. The game really helped me come to terms with the things I need to work on with my mental health. But not only did it do that, it made me realize, and I know this will sound corny, but bear with me, it made me realize that I can do anything, and so can you. And this is only one example from the many games I've played. I don't think that's useless. And yes, movies and shows can capture amazing stories too. But to make it interactive, to let people really experience a story through gameplay, by the very definition, that is something that movies will never, ever, ever be able to accomplish. Oh, yeah, also, you can literally make money off of performing well in video games or creating content centered around them. So it literally does directly benefit you financially. Damn it, I could have just said that, couldn't I? Oh well, too late. This last argument is something I was originally going to base my entire podcast on, and it probably makes me angrier than any other argument. The idea that games are only for children. Oh God. Okay, not to mention the fact that tons of games are literally only for people who are at least 18, which, okay, I guess if you're a bad parent your kid could play. Many games have hidden meanings that make them much more meaningful as an adult than as a child. After all, media is made by adults, whether it's for other adults or for children, and it can tackle tons of important issues through gameplay. Like I said previously, the same can be said for movies, and probably my favorite quote to show this is, a kids movie that isn't good for an adult is a bad kids movie. Add on childhood nostalgia topics that are too niche for child's audiences and adult issues, and you have proof that video games just plain aren't only for kids. I think I've already said enough. So, those are my debunks to the very common but fundamentally flawed arguments that plague society, and I hope this made at least one person realize at least one thing about games being more important and less harmful than we see them. All music in this video was from the Danganronpa franchise, and Danganronpa franchise's soundtrack, and I thought I'd use it solely for this podcast. Anyway, thank you for listening, and goodbye.